players, not really sure how they did in their pool, but we will find out if they are any match for Pepega squad. So we have Rise banned out first, Vigar on the side of TVP, and we have a Vel'Koz ban from Pepega, Lucian from TVP. A couple of mid lane bans at Pepega, although Rise can be flexed top or mid. Pretty strong pick, regardless of where he goes. Able to split push really well. Ult is very effective. Secondary teleport. Aatrox banned out by Pepega. Did not want to see that. Couple of flex picks banned out. Kind of scared of what TVP can do. They haven't seen this team yet, so not really sure how they're going to be running it. Looks like TVP, again, another Riven ban. I've seen a lot of Riven bans. I'm kind of surprised. I haven't really seen a lot of her this meta. I'm not really sure why. Maybe new patch recently has brought her back up, but haven't really seen. Just a strong solo laner in general, can definitely flex to mid or top, so taking away some of that potential. First pick over to blue side. Looks like Pepega's going to go for the Morgana. Very strong pick. She did get nerfed 2 patches ago. Her mid lane got severely nerfed, kind of pushed her out of that pool. Although she is still a decent pick, more than likely she's going to go down to the support position. Spell Shield, very good. Snare, obviously going to be a staple pick. We've got an Irelia coming in from TVP. Very, very good flex pick. Very strong, both top and mid. Can overtake a lane pretty easily. Not a lot of counters to her. Mostly you try and go maybe match it with a Renekton or a Darius, something more, you know, lane dominant than an Irelia is, but she will scale pretty decently as well. Looks like we're getting a Karma out of TVP as well, so we'll see how they play that. That could also be a mid and a support flex pick, and as I said, I could even go top. So as I was saying, flex picks very prevalent in these last couple of patches, so obviously TVP not willing to show their hand yet, waiting to see what Pepega squad is going to pull out for the rest of their map. Looks like we might get a Renekton to match this Irelia, yep. So going to go with something lane dominant, something able to, you know, deal with the threat of Irelia. And we got a Jinx on the side of Pepega squad. And we saw in our last game, Lambton kind of ran away. Little Jinx joke because she runs a lot when she gets killed. Anyway, so we do have a Jinx pick on the side of Pepega squad. Good scaling. Works well with Morgana too. You can put down the chompers when she lands a snare, so it's definitely tough for anyone to escape from that. We're going to get a Sivir out of TVP. Good answer to the Jinx. Will scale just as hard, if not harder, going into late game, and that spell shield really effective against the Jinx chompers or the Jinx ult. So again, kind of plays like a Caitlyn. Good counter into that pick. So we got a Sejuani ban out of TVP. So we got ADCs picked for both sides, most likely supports and top laners. So we got a mid and jungle question mark still kind of hovering around both teams. So we got a jungle ban coming out of TVP, an Udyr ban actually. Interesting pick there. Does have decent kill pressure, especially with the Karma speed up and the Sivir speed buff as well. Definitely a lot of kill threat if you're playing an Udyr, although it would be tough to get on any members, but again, it is banned out, so we won't be seeing it. Ivern banned out of TVP. He's a pretty safe jungler. He gives a lot of support, and those shields are something definitely to consider when you're going for a gank anywhere on the map. And final ban for Pepega squad is going to be a Syndra. Again, targeting that mid lane. I believe they threw 3 bans towards that. So definitely trying to thin the mid lane pool out. Getting a Jarvan pick out of TVP. Still not showing their hand, as that can be flexed to jungle, top, or support. AP Jarvan is actually a very underrated support that a lot of professional players have said is a very good pick, actually. Definitely something to consider going up against. You can still flex the Karma, you can still flex the Irelia. So still not willing to show their hand, letting Pepega squad get their last 2 picks in. Hopefully they'll help us figure out where they're going. So Hecarim in the jungle, one of the strongest junglers right now in the game, if not the strongest. Very, very good early ganking. A lot of early pressure, can go into the mid game as a tank. They're doing a lot of damage. So obviously is going to be a tough thing to deal with, especially when he's running it down on the Sivir, as her spell shields will be definitely not really doing anything. So Pepega squad still flexing the Morgana and Zillion. Not really sure which one will go where. Both can be flexed to support or mid. Both are going to be really good for keeping that Jinx alive, and can help out with a revive if someone like Renekton wants to dive. I'm just running it in a Azir mid lane. So we have the Aurelia, Jarvan, Karma questions. Obviously, looks like we're getting a Jarvan support and a Jarvan jungle and a Karma support. They're really going top against Renekton. Looks like we're going to get Zillion in the mid lane, Morgana in the bot. So more standard, nothing out of the ordinary. Jarvan sticking with his jungle pathing. Definitely looking early. The early game is going to go heavily in favor of Pega squad with the Hecarim and the Renekton. Going to try and take down that Aurelia early. Scaling with the Azir and the Sivir on the side of TBP. They'll be looking to try and extend the game a little bit, try and get past that the early to mid game spike that Pega will have when Renekton and Hecarim hit one item. Zillion is going to be really useful for Pepega just because they have Hecarim and Renekton who are going to be diving in. Zillion can use his ult, revive them, keep them alive in the fight. So, yeah. So Ivern, that last ban, very interesting. Possibly something that they've seen before that they didn't want to face off against. But I do like this Karma pick, actually. It's something we haven't seen that often. But as a Sivir player, obviously your ult is going to give you, like, your Sivir ult gives you massive amounts of speed. And with the Karma speed up as well as a shield, you can kind of push forward more than you normally would as a Sivir, try and get those picks. It is a good counter also into the Jinx. It's not a direct counter because Jinx can still run you down potentially. But it's not a terrible choice. So we'll just see how it pans out at this point. It looks pretty even, but Pepega looking for the early game and TBP looking for mid to late game is when they're going to scale up. They're going to get that Sivir Azir scaling, pushing forward, and they're going to try and win the game through that. So, and what do you think about the Zillion Azir mid lineup?
Honestly, I'm not too sure, really. Like,
It's
just
tough.
looking at Pepega from before, it's just interesting to see, like,
Yeah, it'll be
like the different bands that they're hoping to kind of they were hoping to kind of see.
Yeah, Zillion honestly is not going to put a lot of pressure on the Azir, which is something that you want to do as a mid game against Azir, or mid lane against Azir, just because he will scale much harder than you will. So definitely going to look for those ganks coming into the mid lane, just because if you don't put pressure on that Azir, he is going to farm, he is going to scale up, and there's not going to be anything you can really do to stop him, especially when you get to the late game, because he's just going to become a monster. So look for the jungle to gank mid a lot, because that's where you have to apply the pressure. Bot lane is going to go mostly even. Both ADCs are probably going to look to more than anything just scale. And Karma is going to do some poke, but Morgana hitting that binding will definitely decide whether or not that lane becomes more chaotic or if it's just going to stagger out.
I'm actually really excited to see how this Morgana plays out.
Yeah, she's been a power pick for a while, so if she can hit those binds, she can definitely affect lane in a big way.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
the other big thing she has is that shield. So that black shield will help save her ADC a lot more effectively than the small shield that Karma gives. Well, Karma does give speed, so it's gonna be interesting to see the bot lane, because it's gonna be more, can I hit a skill shot? And if you can hit a skill shot, can you follow up with it? Because it's really dependent on whether or not that skill shot lands, whether you can actually complete a gank, or if it's just gonna go to waste, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna be getting in a game in a few seconds. And I want to give another shout out to one of our sponsors, Easy Mode, new gaming lounge that opened up in Windsor. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, they're actually really cool. You go in there. There's PCs. There's
If I'm not mistaken, is the after party there?
yes, the after party is there.
So if you guys are watching on stream and you'd like to network, with some of our lovely streamers, teachers,
Commentators,
commentators,
what's up?
then
Yeah.
feel free to stop by Easy and check it
It's
out.
on Ottawa Street, I believe. I don't know what the address is, but it's down on Ottawa Street. Definitely a really cool place. They got consoles, they got PCs, they got even board games, card games, if those are your kind of things. But yeah, so definitely go check them out. Take a few minutes out of your day, go play some games that you love. Say hi to a couple of the owners. They're really nice guys. Met them myself. So yeah,
So for this game, it's going to be best of 3.
so we're gonna have, it's good. Teams will get to know each other. See if that'll affect the pick and ban phase. But we're in semifinals, so winner here moves on to the grand finals. Loser will go to the third place game, which will take place after this one. So looks like teams are gonna go for standard, no invades, nothing cheesy. Just gonna cover all the entrances and exits for the jungle. And really interested to see, I haven't seen TVP yet, so I'm really interested to see how they play, if they decide to go for something more chaotic or they decide to go for something more
Structured and
stay in lane, farm up, make it a less hectic game, because every game has pretty much been more than a kill a minute. So
yeah.
maybe you'll see a little bit of a change of pace here. Obviously, teams, you're in the semifinals now. These are the games that really matter. You have to be more cautious about where you're going, what battles you take, what fights you decide to have, because any one of them could mean the end of your tournament run. So,
Absolutely.
like we're at standard, Hecarim's going to start. Both junglers going to start at their red buff. More than likely, just do their regular jungle pathing. Clear both sides, and then maybe look for a gank. Jarvan might go for a level 2 gank and top lane against Renekton just to try and relieve the pressure, because Renekton will do a lot better in a 1v1 against the Irelia, especially at early levels. Once Irelia hits 6, she does have a chance to fight back, but it's truly just dependent on... Ooh, looks like Jarvan looking for an early invade, actually, on the blue. So Hecarim taking 2 camps at once, actually. So that's one of the new strategies they've learned how to do, is they take 2 camps at once, makes it much more efficient. Looks like Jarvan's going to take blue buff of Hecarim, of Himiro, and force him to maybe go up, do some vertical jungling. Himiro doesn't know, though, so Jarvan's actually just going to wait for him here. Himiro's going to take his wolves. He doesn't know that Jarvan's in this jungle. Jarvan looking for the gank. Hecarim's going to go splash with a knock-up. Doesn't quite hit it. Means Hero's actually going to escape with his life. Try and bait the Jarvan over. Renekton is fighting Irelia at the moment, so they can't come. Irelia hits the stun. Is going to get the Conqueror proc. Not going to be able to follow it up with a Q, though. And looks like it's just going to be Jarvan taking over that top jungle. Good on him, knowing that Hecarim was not expecting that blue buff steal. So it means Hecarim is going to be relegated to his Gromps, do some vertical jungling. Jarvan is just going to go back to his jungle. And it means Hecarim is not going to have a fun time early game, which is very important because that is when he is the strongest at their level. So Snare does hit on Karma. Karma is just going to heal up. They're not going to go all in on her. Sivir kind of low on mana. Jinx is about half health. So Morgana is landing a couple good binds. Irelia is taking over this top lane. He's going to go in, take a tower shot. Going to get stunned up, actually. Doesn't take a second tower shot, though, and trade comes out even. Renekton is just not having a fun time in this top lane at all. We got 11 farm. Lane is being frozen by the Irelia. She did win that early trade, so that does give her the ability to roam, taking the Rift, the Scuttler in top river. Going to give herself a little bit more health, a little bit more gold, and does mean that Renekton can safely farm the way back and pick up some items. So, what do you think of the game so far?
You know, I think it's a really interesting strategy that they're going to try to put out here. I know it's mostly like the last few games that we've seen, it's just been mostly like focused on that bottom and then, you know, going straight down mid lane, but
yeah.
I don't know, seeing the like the top lane and how that might affect, you know, their strategy and their gameplay is really interesting to watch.
It's definitely less chaotic I think teams are playing a lot safer just because it is semifinals, and
Well, it's understandable.
there's
You
a
know?
lot more on the line. Got a risky invade here by Hecarim. We got Renekton for backup, though. Renekton did push the wave all the way to the turret of Irelia, so Irelia's just going to try and save farm under her turret. But Hecarim is going to be able to steal away Gromps from the TVP jungler. Stun landed. Not, looks like Irelia's going to go in, actually, on the double buff. Irelia's going to get, and Conqueror procced on Renekton. Hecarim going to try and come in, go for the kill. W on Irelia. Irelia gets first blood and she stays alive. Hecarim goes down. First blood to TVP. Very well played by Irelia. He's saving that W and charging it up. So when she hits W and goes in her sphere, the longer she stays in that W, the more defensive stats it gives her. So if you're, for example, a Hecarim and you want to dive her, if she presses W, she can stay alive a lot longer. And she's actually able to stay out of that. She's going to go in on the Renekton, actually, going for another kill. And she's going to Q her, and he's going to get the Renekton off the TP.
Oh my goodness.
He bit off more than he could chew. And Irelia 2-0 already at 5 minutes means that that top lane is going to make it. It's going to make that top lane a heck of a lot harder for that Renekton to deal with. And jungle difference is definitely the forefront issue of this game. Pepega, jungler at 20 farm and 0-1, while 33 farm and 0-0 for the Jarvan jungler there means that there's a lot more pressure on the other lanes coming from PvP side rather than the Pepega squad side. So Zilean will land one bomb there, didn't quite get his stun proc. Jarvan will look for the invade on the Hecarim. Both level 4, looks like they're just going to say hi, back off each other. How you doing? So Jarvan's going to back off. Still respects the Hecarim damage because as an early game jungler, he does do a lot of damage despite being down a lot of farm. They were the same level. And Jarvan's going to pick up his Rift Scuttler on top. Not really a lot of action happening around the map.
You know what? That's all right. I think that, you know, taking things slow in the beginning and trying to, like, you know, stack players like that is, you know, a bit of a better strategy.
Yeah. And I think the thing, too, is mid lane, Azir is playing safely. Unfortunately, Zilean just doesn't have the power to push him like other mid laners do, which means that he can free farm. And as you can see, he's up about 12 farm on Zilean. Zilean is forced it back, so he's probably going to go up even more here. But the problem with him is, as an Azir, you have to push him as a character, because if you're not pushing him, he's just going to shove you right back. He's going to shove out his lane really, really hard. And that means that he's going to go up farm, he's going to be able to roam, and he's going to hit his late game a lot faster than you will. So, Azir is just, they're going to have to figure out a way to take down that Azir before he scales too hard. It looks like they're going to 4-man the dragon, actually. I don't think that Pepega squad realized this, but that is a very early Infernal Drake that is going to go to TVP. Their jungler just backed, he's not even close to it. Uncontested. TVP picks up the first dragon of this series.
Honestly, I feel like this puts TVP at a little bit of an advantage.
Gives them a little bit more AP/AD. Usually it's really good overall, but more so in the late game. I really look going to proc the ult. Renekton going for the stun, doesn't quite hit the stun. I really going to pick up another kill on that Renekton. Good all in by her, hit all of her abilities. Renekton did not hit his stun, and that means a 3-0 Irelia in top lane is very scary for the rest of Pepega
Irelia
squad
is
to
carrying
deal
their
with.
team right now.
Well, I wouldn't say carrying, but it's
in number of
definitely,
kills.
yeah, it's definitely a scary thought when she starts roaming, especially the mid lane where the Zilean, although he does have an ult, is going to be so susceptible because he's already down a massive amount of CS, so Azir already has a lead on him. Bot lane, still looking pretty even, you know, 60, only down about 5 farm. Goal difference is mostly in the top lane with 3 kills on the side of Irelia. And unfortunately, it just means that Renekton is going to have very limited effectiveness throughout this game. Irelia is going to have a lot more, and as the game scales to late, Irelia is just going to keep becoming more and more effective, whereas Renekton is going to fall off heavily, especially because they have a Jarvan and they have a Karma who can provide a lot of shields for their ADC. So even if Renekton can pop onto the Sivir, Sivir can pop a spell shield, she can pop, she can get the shields from Jarvan, she can get the shields from Karma, she can escape. So it's definitely going to be a lot harder to get onto the ADC in this game rather than hopping onto, say, Caitlyn or a Kai'Sa. Goal difference about 2K. We're 10 minutes into our first game of this best of 3 series. And TBP, things are looking up for them. Obviously, they do have skilling on their side with the Azir and the Sivir. But also, never forget about a Jinx, because Jinx can solo more than anyone in the game. Sivir can also do the same. So definitely something to watch out for. But that Irelia is very scary in top lane. Azir looking to go in for the ult. Doesn't quite hit the ult. Zilean flashes out. Keeps himself safe for the time being. Jarvan flash ulting onto the Zilean. Doesn't have a flash, meaning the Zilean's going to have to ult himself to try and save him. Doesn't have enough mana for an ult. Wow. So Zilean is going to go down to the Jarvan. Jarvan and Zilean both using their flashes, but unfortunately Zilean did not have enough mana for his ult. Couldn't save himself, and it means a 4-0 lead for TBP. And it means an even bigger jungle advantage for the Jarvan going into this next series. Obviously Azir would have liked that, but he is up 30 farm, so he gets to free farm in mid lane, and Renekton can't really fight this Irelia at this point. Irelia is up by a Phage and 2 daggers, whereas Renekton only has the Kindle gem. So unfortunately, that doesn't really give him any advantages. It's just giving him a little more health, a little bit more cooldowns, whereas Irelia has more attack speed, and she has... Oh, looks like she's going to try and all in. No, she's going to hit the stun.
Coming right in there.
W is going to get progged. There's a lot of defense damage. Ulting on the Renekton. Renekton's going to dash out. She's going to try and go for the reset. Actually takes a courage shot. Renekton's going to turn this around. Going to try and hit the stun, and Irelia is going to turn that around and take him. That Conqueror proc was huge on Irelia. She was able to turn that fight around when it looked like she was actually done, get that burst damage on the Renekton, and win that fight. So Azir is going to burn a lot on Zilean. Doesn't make it worth it. And it looks like they're just going to go down. Azir is going to push down to bot lane, try and pick off that Morgana and Jinx. But she turns around. So, unfortunately, I think that Irelia is just going to be very, very much ahead of this Renekton. And as much as Renekton would like to pick that fight, he just doesn't have the item or the power to actually take that and win. So, as of right now, 5-0, things are not looking good for Pepega squad. They really do need to find a way to get an advantage either on bot lane or in mid lane. Otherwise, this Irelia will just snowball out of control and take this game herself. Karma gonna go for a little poke and just to hit Morgana. Doesn't really do a lot. Bot lane's kind of just been farming up. Sivir is up about 17 farm. So goes for the snare, doesn't quite hit it. Karma gonna go for a ward clear here, actually. Azir is standing by, just making sure. Jarvan is in the jungle. Oh, Jarvan's gonna ult onto the Hecarim. Hecarim's gonna ult back out, and that is it. Good steal by Jarvan on the red buff. Hecarim not really in control of his jungle right now, especially his top one. Irelia is hovering around there. Might be going for the dive onto the Zilean in mid lane here. Looking for it. Looking for the Hecarim. Doesn't know where he is. Hecarim's going to go take the scuttle. Has no idea that Irelia is going to try and take that blue buff. Morgana's sitting down here at half health. And the dragon's being taken by Jarvan, uncontested. Hecarim is up taking his jungle in the top lane. Bot lane priority, obviously, on the side of TPP, with their jungler being ahead and should stun by Zilean. Not going to add too much, but it's just not looking good for Pepega squad right now.
In about 10 seconds, our shields go down for our
Plates?
plates, sorry. Plates.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll get it eventually.
Eventually. Jinx gonna get some poke damage on the Sivir here. Try and hit her with the W. Spell shield gives Sivir some mana back. And they get another plate in the bot lane just before it expires. And it's like Renekton's gonna try and clear top lane. That's very, very dangerous position for Renekton to be at this point. Irelia is almost done. She's got Ninja Tabbies, and she's got half of her Triforce built. Hecarim just going to speed his way out of there. Doesn't want anything to do with that Irelia. Just means, unfortunately, that Rift Herald will be started by Team TVP. We'll see if they try and contest this. Hecarim already is going to back. He's going to say, no, thank you. I can't take that. My top laner is pushing too hard, and my mid laner does not have priority. So this is going to be a free Rift Herald for the side of PvP. Most likely going to use a mid or top lane, try and push those turrets out right at the beginning, and try and snowball this early lead that Irelia has. Unlock her out of lane once they take that turret, and then Hecarim looks like he's going to try and collapse under the. Ooh, nice knockup by Jarvan. Hecarim ults. Renekton's going to flash, he's going to hit an ult, and Jarvan's going to die instantly. Renekton's going to dash out. Karma's turning around, looking like she wants to pick this fight, but no. So a good pick on the side of Pepega squad. Jarvan did get Rift Herald, paid for with his life though. And Azir is going to land a little bit of poke on Morgana. She's going to spell shield that, and looks like bot lane is not going to get any more. Irelia is going to take the first turret of the game in the top. Obviously with such a big advantage, not really much Renekton can do at this point. She is going to back for Triforce, and after that, she's going to be a monster in top lane. It's going to be very, very tough for this Renekton to deal with her. More than likely, Irelia will just... Yeah. So Irelia picks up the Triforce, double longswords as well. She has a very, very big item advantage over the Renekton. Up 20 farm, 4 kills, or 3 kills will definitely help you push out that lane, and looks like she might think about going bot, maybe lane swapping. Bot lane turret just got taken by the Sivir and then Karma though, which is, they are 20 farm ahead down there as well. Both of those hyper scaling carries are going to be looking to wait this out, hopefully outscale. Outscale the Irelia, use their Renekton for some disengage, but it's going to be very, very tough for Pepega squad to come back in this game. And looks like we have a couple items coming through for most members of both teams. You got Ludens on both the Azir and the Zillion, and Karma's going to flash for the Jinx. Jinx is going to flash out. Karma's going to flash as well to try and land the Q on the Jinx. Doesn't quite get it. Jarvan Q almost takes out the Jinx. Doesn't quite make all of it there. Azir is trying to fight Renekton. Renekton actually stuns him before he can get that ult down. Aurelia's going to TP to bot lane to pick up the kill down there. Zillion's going to pick up the kill on Azir. Hecarim's going to try and go for the kill on Sivir. Aurelia's going to pick up a double kill. And Sivir's going to pick up a kill bot lane, and Jarvan's going to pick up the final kill. And Aurelia's going to pick up a triple kill. 7-0-1 Irelia. They get the ace in bot lane, and if it wasn't looking bad enough already, Rift Herald is going to push it even further. So we got about 20-second death timers on top lane members of Pepega. Rift Herald is going to try and take this inhibitor. I think they're going to push this as far as they can. They're going to back off, let the Rift Herald hit the tower one more time, and they're going to back, let it reset. So they tried that fight. It was a good pick on Azir, and in the bot lane, Jinx was able to escape. As soon as that Irelia came in, though, she just ravaged that fight. She took out 3 members of Pepega before they could even think about what happened. It looks like she's going to try and go on Hecarim again. Hecarim is going to ult the wrong direction. She's going to try and shove her back. And Irelia is now legendary. And Jinx ult not going to quite hit. It means that an 8-0-1 Irelia is more scary than anything in this game right now. So we have, she's going to back, pick up a few more items. Pick up our Titanic Hydra and a stopwatch just for safety. And that is a very scary looking Irelia. And unfortunately, it also means that the scaling Sivir and the scaling Azir are going to have kind of a backdrop so they can sit back and say, you know what? I don't have to push this. Oh, it looked like he's going to go in on Zillion, but didn't want to use the ult there. Waited it out. Wasn't sure who else on his team was there. And TBP picks up another Infernal Drake. So even more AP, even more AD. Not looking good.
Really isn't. TVP about 9 kills ahead.
So 19 minutes in, 11-2. You have a 8K gold lead on the side of TBP. Most of that, obviously, the top lane, the 801 Irelia. So definitely going to be something Pepega's going to think about next game in their pick ban phase, something that probably don't want to see again. But definitely a good flex pick and a good choice. So ult by Irelia, go all in on Renekton here. Renekton going to ult, try and save himself. 3 members of the Pepega squad here trying to kill that Irelia. Morgana gets a shutdown on Irelia actually, but Zillion loses his life in the process. Jarvan going to knock up the Hecarim. Sivers barely staying alive in the top lane here. He's going to try and kill it. Renekton flashes out, and Jarvan comes in, ults that Renekton keeps him alive. Morgana does hit the snare on Riven. Not going to go in on her, though. Karma's going to try and speed up Jarvan. Jarvan not going to go for the knock-up on this one. So they trade 2 for 1, but they did get the Irelia, which means that it's going to be a lot harder for TVP to push. Azir was pushing the bot lane. Looks like he's going to try and join the fight, and they're just going to back up, take a free Baron. Inhib minions are pushing the Nexus towers for TVP, which means that Pepega squad has to go back there, clear them out, and therefore TVP gets a very easy Baron take, especially with that Azir. Able to just shred that down before Pepega squad can even react, and this is going to make it a lot harder for Pepega squad to deal with this Irelia. Because she can potentially just split push and force them into a team fight with her, because obviously none of them can 1v1 the Irelia. So the problem is that they have a very strong Sivir, and although Azir does not have a lot of kills, he has 200 farm, he has hit 2 items, which means that he's going to be doing a lot of poke damage, especially that Morello. Morello is bought by Azir. Usually you see him go Singer for the attack feed, but because the members of Pepega squad are very squishy, there's not really a tank for them, more the bruisers in the Hecarim and the Renekton. He doesn't really need a lot of attack speed. He's more going to be looking for that poke, trying to kill the Jinx or the Zillion before they can even react. So more than likely he might pick up a Stinger next. Morgana's going to hit Snare on... Ooh, Renekton's going to flash over the wall, trying to pick up this kill on Azir. Azir's going to be running for his life. Azir's going to use the flash. Renekton's going to back off. Not able to pick up that kill, but forces out the Azir's flash, which is a very big summoner spell forced out by Pepega squad. TVP pushing down the mid lane, looking to try and force down this mid lane turret. Still inhibitor down in bot lane. Hecarim going to lose about half his health. Just some poke from the Sivir and the Azir. Definitely something that's suppressing them a lot. So
TBD is definitely like their minions are pushing in the same way, almost the same as the last game with you know, Steve and Lambton. So you can see it's a very
binds on the Sivir. Sivir's going to take a tower shot. Does not take the second one though. The thing with Pepega squad is they do have a lot of clear. So they have a Morgana W. They have a Zillion Q. So there's a lot of clear, safe clear potential from them. So they don't have to, you know, forcibly walk up, try and take those minions. They can just safe clear them from a distance. And really been trying to go for 1v2 here. Renekton and Hecarim are both forced to ult out of there. Oh, Aurelia's going to go for the flash, and he's going to pick up the kill on Renekton. To walk into the base, nothing really they can do. Jarvan's going to take that inhibitor. Aurelia's going to try and push out this top lane. We still have a turret in mid that has been taken yet. Flash in the bot lane. Jarvan's going to try and go in for the ult here. Gets 2 people. Isn't able to finish. Hecarim is going to get finished by the Aurelia. Aurelia's going to go in on this Morgana. Looking for the chain stun. Doesn't quite make it, but stopwatch does save her. Flash there. Jinx going to go for the ult in the top lane. Doesn't pick anyone up. Azir, very low health though. Aurelia's going to try and go in on this Jinx here. He's going to pick up the Righteous Glory proc on that. Looks like Aurelia's just going to back off. Doesn't really realize her team is kind of just left her. Karma's the only one left here. The rest of the back. And Renekton's going to pick up, or Jinx is going to pick up a big shot down. That breathes some life into the Pepega squad. Not only did they stop the Baron, they only lost 2 inhibs during that time, and they were able to take another shutdown on that Aurelia onto the Jinx, which means she can hit hyper carry status. So another Infernal Drake is going to be up. It doesn't look like they're going to try and contest this. They have 2 inhibitors down. It's going to be very tough. Hecarim is going to be sprinting to it, but he's going to be a little too late. Unfortunately, he's just not able to take that dragon or even contest it. Azir's going to miss an ult on the Hecarim. Good spell shield by Morgana, able to save the Hecarim on that one. Azir not going to have an ult available to him now. Jarvan's gonna look for the Q. Hecarim turns around, ults him, gonna look for another Q proc, auto attack, and Hecarim gonna pick up the shutdown on Jarvan. TVP getting a little bit too cocky. Understandably, they are pretty far ahead with 3 Infernal Drakes along with that very fed Irelia, but it looks like Irelia's going to pick up some kills in the bot lane, a couple of her own. Irelia's going to go all in on the double stun hit on both members, and looks like they're just going to get aced. Irelia is a monster and is picking up kills everywhere. Sivir is going to clean up the garbage, pick up 2 more kills, and it looks like the first game of this series is going to go over to TVP. So, definitely top lane having a large effect on this game, and we'll definitely see where that takes us in game 2. Does mean